Hi all. Today we are going to discuss about linear equation in two variable. So I believe that you are aware about this concept. You may be not aware about linear equation two variable, but you are aware about linear equation one variable. Why? Because when we were in 8th standard, we have discussed about linear equation one variable already. And in 9th standard, today we are going to start linear equation in two variable. We are going to start the discussion of linear equation in two variable. So before entering to the chapter linear equation two variable, I would like to ask you a question that, or let us recall what we have learned in 8th standard. What is linear equation? Or what is linear equation one variable? Or before everything, let me ask you a question. What is an equation? What is an equation? Equation is an algebraic expression, can be treated as an algebraic expression which consists of equality sign. It's very simple to understand. Equation, in order to consider an expression as an equation, it should consist of an equality sign. For example, I will show you an example. X plus y is equal to 3. Is this an equation? Obviously it's an equation. Why? Because it's an expression which consists of equality sign. For example, if you write an expression like x plus y, it's an algebraic expression, it's an expression, but it's not an equation. Why it is not an equation? Why you cannot treat it as an equation? Because it does not consist of an equality sign. But when you write it as x plus y is some 1 by 2, it's an equation, become an equation. It should consist of an equality sign. Then let me ask you another question. X is equal to 5 is an equation, obviously, because it consists of an equality sign. So this is what is an equation. Equation is an algebraic expression which consists of equality sign. What is linear equation then? Or can anyone give me an example of linear equation one variable? Yes. 2x plus 3 is equal to, you can write any number 7. She is saying that it's a linear equation one variable. Let us check whether it is linear equation in one variable or not. We are going to check whether it's an equation or not. Is it an equation? Obviously it's an equation because it consists of equality sign. So it's an equation. Is it in one variable? Yeah, obviously it is in one variable because there exists only one variable, that is x. Why this x is known as variable? What do you mean by variable? Variable means the value can be changed. Value is variating, changing. Here for the variable x you can give different values. So that's why x is known as variable. And what about 3 and 7? They are known as constant. And what about 2? 2 is known as the coefficient of x. So let me come back to the point. Is it an equation? Yes, it's an equation because it consists of equality sign. Is it in one variable? Obviously it is in one variable because there exists only one variable, that is x. Suppose if there is y also, you cannot treat it as linear equation one variable. It is in two variable. Since there is only one variable x, so it is an equation in one variable. And my last question is that, is it linear? Or how you can check the given equation is linear or not? You see the variable and see the power, or see the degree, or see the power of the variable. Here the power of the variable is plus 1. Actually we are not writing a power here. If we are not writing a power, there exists plus 1 as the power. And if the power is positive 1, then that particular equation is known as linear. If the power of the variable is positive 1, then that particular equation is known as linear. So in short, it's a linear equation because here the variable is x and its power is positive 1. So it's linear equation because it's an equation because of the equality sign. So it is linear and it is linear equation and it is linear equation one variable. So this is what is linear equation one variable. And now I would like to ask you a question that, can you solve it? Or what do you mean by the solution of a linear equation one variable? This is all what we have learned in 8th standard. Can anyone tell me what about the solution of this linear equation variable? How we can solve? Or what do you mean by the solution of a linear equation? Solution can be defined as the value of the variable which satisfies the expression. That means if you substitute any value for x, if that particular value is satisfying this equation, then that value is known as the solution. For example, what will happen if I substitute x as 1? If you substitute x as 1, it will be 2 into 1 plus 3. What is 2 into 1? That is 2. 2 plus 3, it is 5. I'm getting 5. I'm not getting 7. So you can say that x is equal to 1 is not a solution of this. Then what will be the solution of this? How we could calculate that? There is an algebraic method. We are already provisioned in solving equation, isn't it? You maintain the variable, that term in the left side, that is 2x. 2x is the term which consists of variable. I'm keeping it in the left side. Take this plus 3 to right side, so it will be 7 minus 3. So it will be 2x is equal to 4 and x will be 4 by 2. What is that? The solution will be 2. And if you have any doubt, you can substitute this value here. So 2 into 2 is 4, 4 plus 3 is equal to 7. I'm getting that. Or you can say that this x is equal to 2, this value satisfying this expression. So this is known as the solution. How many such solutions can be calculated? Yes, only one solution. For a linear equation, one variable, there exists only unique solution. There exists only a solution. There exists only a single solution. We won't be able to calculate any more solution. Okay, so this is what about linear equation, one variable. So as I mentioned, now we are going to deal with the linear equation, two variable. Can anyone give me an example? Can anyone frame an example for linear equation two variable? Because we understood what is an equation, we understood what is a linear, and it is just two variable. You must give me an equation, you must give me a linear equation that must be in two variable. Yes. 2x plus, you must insert one more variable, y is equal to 5, let it be anything. So is this an equation? Yes, because it consists of inequality sign. Is it in two variable? Yeah, x and y, two variables are there. Now my question is it linear? How you can identify that? See, the power of the variable, it's not just x, y also a variable. So you must analyze the power of both variable. Here the power of the variable is variable x is plus 1. Here the power of the variable y is plus 1. So it is a linear equation in two variable. Can anyone give me an example for an equation which is not linear? It's very easy to find. 2 by x plus y is equal to 7. Is it an equation? Obviously it's an equation. Is it in two variable? Obviously it is in two variable. But is it linear? No, it is not linear. Why? Because 2 by x can be written as 2x raised to minus 1 plus y is equal to 7. So here the power of the x is negative 1. As I mentioned, the power of the variable should be plus 1. Then only it can be treated as linear equation. Okay. So anyway, this is an example of linear equation two variable. Can anyone give me another simple example of linear equation two variable? X plus y is equal to 10. It's a very simple example. It's an equation. It is linear and it is in two variables. So it is known as linear equation two variable. Now, I would like to calculate the solution of this. Can anyone tell me some solution? So when you say solution, you must assign a value for x as well as y. So I'm going to assign a value for x as 2 and y as 8. So you can say that 2 and x is equal to 2 and y is equal to 8 is the solution of this. Why? Because when you replace x as 2 and y as 8, this equation is satisfying. So x is equal to 2 and y is equal to 8 is the solution. So you can write it as ordered pair 2, 8. The first value should be the x value and second value should be the y value. So 2, 8 is the solution. Can anyone find out more solution? In linear equation one variable, as I mentioned, there exists only a single solution. Whereas in the case of linear equation two variable, you can calculate two solution, no, three solution, no, four solution, no. There exists infinitely many solution. Can you give me more solution? Yes, you can substitute x as 3, then y will be 7. If you substitute x as 4, y will be 6. In that way, you can calculate different solutions, infinitely many solutions. So what is the algebraic method of calculating the solution? It's very simple. You fix x as a value. Suppose if you fix x as 6, you substitute this 6 there in the equation. So it will be 6 plus y is equal to 10. Then find the corresponding y value. It will be 4. So x is equal to 6 and y is equal to 4 is a pair of solution. So there exists infinitely many solutions. So I'm planning to conclude this session by explaining why this equation is known as linear. From where that linear came. What is the meaning of that linear? Linear, which means that line. That means this equation represents a line. That's why it is known as linear equation. So I'm going to explain why this equation is representing a line. So how we can analyze that? Let us draw the graph. If we are getting a line, then the doubt is over. Then the explanation is done. Okay, let us draw the graph of this. How I could draw the graph? It's very simple. We already learned how to draw the graph when we were in 7th standard itself, isn't it? So I'm going to draw the graph. In order to draw the graph, I need to calculate, I need to find out some points. So I'm substituting x as 0 here. When you substitute x as 0 here, you will get the value of y as 10. If you substitute x as 1, you will get the value of y as 9. If you substitute y as 0, you will get the value of x as 10. Then let us draw the graph. How we will be able to draw the graph? Now I am going to draw a rough graph, but you must draw it in a Cartesian plane or in the graph sheet itself. There you can mark the points. So it should have sufficient height. The y-axis should have sufficient height. Okay. Then after that, the points we have calculated are, I have substituted x as 0, then I got y as 10. Then I have substituted y as 10, then you got the value x as 0. Then you can substitute x as 1 and y, we got it as 9, isn't it? Now we're going to draw the graph. So in order to draw the graph, we must draw a Cartesian plane, x and y axis. These two, horizontal line stands for x axis and vertical line stands for y axis. Then you have to mark the points by keeping 1 centimeter. You must use a scale. Since I'm drawing a rough graph, I'm not using a scale, but you are supposed to draw it by using scale, keeping 1 centimeter. Okay. So this is positive x-axis, negative x-axis, positive y and negative y. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One more point, 10. So which is the first point? When x is equal to 0, y is equal to 10. What do you mean by that? There is no movement along x-axis, y is equal to 10. So y on y-axis you can mark 10. Which is the second point? Sorry, here y is 0, x is 10. Which is the second point? When x is equal to 10, y is equal to 0. Second point is x is equal to 10, y is equal to 0. That means there is no movement along y-axis. X is equal to 10. So on x-axis you can mark 10. Then which is the next point? When x is equal to 1, y is equal to 9. When x is equal to 1, choose 1 from x-axis and 9 from y-axis. And join all these 3 points. If you join all these 3 points, you will get a straight line. So now you may understood why these kind of equations are known as linear. Because when you draw the graph of this, you will get a straight line. That's why it is known as linear. Thank you.